Hey everyone, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well, so welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so don't miss any of my new videos. And let's get started in today's video or today's lesson. So today we're gonna talk about two things. We're gonna talk about functions that we can apply to floats or floating point numbers, and functions that we can apply with strings. And the reason I did these two things together is because the functions that work with floats are really few, so I didn't want to do them in a separate video, and we're gonna get started with floats. So let's create a variable called x, which contains a string value of a number, right? And then we're gonna create a variable called y, which contains an integer, which is 12. Okay, we have two variables here. One is a string that contains a number, and the second one is an integer. So here, if we want to transform this or change them into floats, we're gonna just use the float function, which is this one here, float x, and then float y. And we're gonna have two floating point numbers instead of one integer and one string. So now let's print the results, right? First we're gonna print the first result here, and then we're gonna print the second result. So let's run and see. So we have 15.0 and 12.0. This 12 that was an integer or a whole number was converted into a floating point number by adding this 0.0 to it, right? Okay, so that's about the float function that converts the strings and the integers to floating point numbers. The second thing is the round function. To the round function, we pass a floating point number, and you're gonna round it to a number, or you're gonna just round it to a whole number or an integer. So we have round here. If we have here x, which is let's say 12.5849, okay? So we're gonna delete these two here. So round y, okay? Point here. So we're gonna round y and see. Let's print the results. Print. And we're gonna have 13, not 12, because here we have 5. If we have here 3 and run, we're gonna have 12. If we have here 9, it's gonna be rounded to 13, and so on. This function rounds a value, which means that we pass a float and we get an integer. But if we want to round it to a number, for example, round to 2 numbers or 3 numbers, we just pass the number here. Let's say round to 2 or 2 numbers. So it rounded it to 2 numbers, which means that it left the 2 numbers here after the point and the other ones are removed. If we round to 1 number, we're gonna just have 1 number after the point. If we round to 3 numbers, for example, let's add some stuff here and round to 3 numbers, we're gonna have 3 numbers after the point. So that's about the floating point functions. Now we're gonna move to the strings function. So let's say here greeting, new variable called greeting, which is a string of hello, comma, word. So this is our variable here. What we can do here, we can print the length of this variable with the function called len, okay? In this function, you pass your variable here, and you're gonna print the results. So it says that the length is 12. If we count here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And as you see, we count the spaces, we count everything. So the length is 12, which means there is 12 character here, including the comma and including the space, okay? Okay. We have also the upper and the lower. For example, we say here greeting dot lower and print the result. Let's comment this here. So hello world and everything is in lowercase. The H here was in uppercase and the W was in uppercase, and now everything is in lowercase. Okay. So the next thing here is the upper. Print greeting dot upper, and let's comment this here. So hello world and everything is in the uppercase. You see here. There is also the capitalize. If we have here a small h and a small w here, we can say print greeting dot capitalize. Okay, and let's go. So hello world, the H is capitalized here. The first thing in the word is capitalized. And let's use another function called str, which is a function that converts the type of the variable. Let's create a variable here called x, which is 12, yeah, and another variable called y, which is 13.999. Now we can print and then str and then x, and the same here goes with y. Print str y. This will convert this whole number or integer and this floating point number to a string, right? So let's run, and we have here the normal output, but they are string, and we can print them and we can concatenate them with strings. For example, we can say stuff like print your age is, and a space and a plus sign, str x, and then a plus sign and a space and a full stop. And let's delete this 2 here. So print your age is, and we converted this to a string, and we're gonna run. So your age is 12, okay? Okay, no need for this space. Your age is 12. If we don't use the str here, we cannot concatenate a string with an integer, or we cannot add a string to an integer, and type error can only concatenate string, not int to string. So we can concatenate only strings to strings, and why we used str, which converts the type of the variable from an integer or floating point number to a string. So that's about the str. Another thing here is the replace. Let's print here. No, let's say greeting dot replace, and we have the thing that we want to replace and the thing that we will replace with. So here we have hello world. Let's make this thing bigger here. Hello world. Let's replace here hello, a comma, with hi. So what's happening here is that we are telling Python to find the word hello in our string, no matter where this word is, and replace it with hi. Let's print the results and see. Print. So hi word, you see? Instead of hello word, we replaced the word hello with hi, and we got hi word. Another thing is the split function. This function splits a string into parts. So let's say greeting.split and print the result. So it is splitted into hello, a comma, and word. You see here? So you're gonna split every word alone, and we can add here something. For example, we can add the comma here, and you see how the result changes here. We're gonna split whenever you find the comma. So it says hello and then word. If we have here another comma and we say today is pretty, and run, so it's splitted hello and then word, and today is pretty. So we use this as a point word to split. We're telling Python whenever you find a comma, just split. And you can change this by point, by, for example, by L, and you see here. So whenever Python find an L, he's gonna split hello, and there is no L here. And then O, and then the word, the L is removed because it's the point where we split, and then the D, and today it's pretty. Okay, so you can use whatever you like here to split. For example, if we have here this mark, we can use it here also, and it's gonna split whenever it finds that mark. You see here? So that's about the split function. We have the find function. We say greeting.find, and let's say D, and it's gonna return the index. It's 11, which means that this D, the first D it's found, is at the index of 11. And if you don't know, the index is the numbering here. We start from 0. H has an index of 0. E has an index of 1. L has an index of 2. Then the other L has an index of 3, 4, 5, the space 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So D is at the index of 11. So when we see here, it gave us 11, which means that this is index of the first D it found. There's another D here, but it speaks about the first one. There's the index, for example, index, and then we pass T. So it says that the index of T is 26, which means this one here. The index of T is 26, right? So we have a lot of stuff. You just look and you're gonna find a lot of functions. So there is decimal, is digit, is lower. These are Boolean stuff. There is a join. There is a lot of stuff here. Reindex starts with. Here, this function means that we say greeting dot starts with W and it's gonna return true. Let's say that greeting is, and let's see, is lower. And we're gonna print the results. So it's false because the greeting variable is not lower, it's not upper, it's mixed. Yeah, we have H is upper, the rest is lower. We have T and W is also upper. So if we make everything in the lowercase and try it again, it's gonna return true. So let's run, and it says true. Yes, greeting is in lowercase or is lower. So that's all about the string and float functions in Python. Of course, I did not mention them all because they are a lot, but I mentioned the most important, the most used, the most popular, the most easy ones, you know. So I hope this video was useful. If it was useful, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions or suggestions, please comment them down below in the comments section, and stay safe.